Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a balanced rack, no duplicates, but it's not a bingo-y rack with J and M. I'm not seeing a 7 or an 8, but I should be able to play through this fairly easily, and my priority will be getting rid of the J because it's my least bingo-y tile and also a means of scoring. What if opponent changes? Do I have any 5-letter plays which get the J doubled? I don't think I do. But I've got a good short play in jam. Okay, so opponent doesn't change. Quate takes an E in front and I think an R and an S afterwards. Now, do any of these floaters provide bingos? I don't think so. Do I have a double-double through the U? No. So I do have jam. 29 points. That's not terrible, but it's not particularly fantastic either. However, it's not providing much for opponent, and the rack leave is good. But how about this E hook for Quate? Let me see what Jade scores. Well, it's only the same score. And it's setting up a super hot Z spot. What about Jet in this spot? 34 points. It's a few more points, but a much worse rack leave. I'm going with jam. I do have an E for Equate next turn. Well, I draw 3 consonants, which isn't great. Just wondering how benefited is spelt. Could that be a 9? It would need 2 E's, and there aren't 2 E's. I've drawn 2 non-bingo-y tiles in the B and the F. I can get rid of both of them with fib. Do I have anything great using the E front hook for Quate? Don't think so. Now jam takes a B, so I've got fib and jam. That's quite nice. Jar takes a B. So I have befit on my rack. That doesn't play in row I, but it does play in column 3 if it's good, and I think it is. Interesting, I'll need to compare the scores of those 2 plays. Befit does set up a hot X spot and a very hot Q spot if a Q hadn't already been played. The rack leave is worse after befit. Okay, opponents played their 41 points. Just looking at these floaters, I think it's the vowels which are most likely to provide a bingo. So I have the un prefix. No, so let me see what fib scores. 29 points, an okay rack leave. Not super dangerous, an eye to the left of a premium square. Yeah, and this rack leave goes quite nicely with U and A and S. But the score is a bit lame. Am I missing something? Befit doesn't play parallel to Impuser. Impuser only takes an S at the end. Equate takes CO at the beginning to make co-equate. And there may be other front extensions, but none comes to mind. I'm going with fib. Now, the rack inching towards a bingo. I have enticed, and jam takes an E. Fantastic. Will that stay available? And do I have an alternative bingo if it's blocked? And does enticed have an anagram? I thought it may do. If it does, it just has one. So, what about the Empusa floaters? Anything with a P. Penticed. Fantastic. What about U? No. How about S? Gosh, that looks a super bingo-y set of tiles. Sciented, not good. Wow, there could be something with the S. But it's not come to mind. And anything through the air. Oh, opponent plays in my enticed spot and blocks penticed. Ouch. I've still got enticed because EL is good, but that puts a D in the middle of row O. Now Jambo only takes a K, I think. Yeah, so I don't have anything in column 11. Anything beginning with U? No, 16 minutes on my clock. What about ME? Oh, so close to menticide. If an E were an I. But is there something else beginning ME? No, not that I can see. What about AT? No. S, so I've already considered that and drawn a blank. But a play through the S would definitely be better than column 9. Does Dal take an E? If it does, I think this is the play. And it does. Fantastic. Okay, phew. Glad I spotted that. If I'd played down column 9, the opponent may have had a big row O play. So I lead by 9. What do I have here? I have Syrinx as a 9. 44 for opponent. Is there anywhere good to play that? Well, yes, there is, and preserving the S. I have it here. For 48, X not particularly available for column 8. Nice rack leave, goes well with E and D. But am I just falling in love with this word? Is there a much better X spot? There's row H. I don't think there are any obvious X spots next to vowels. And Syrinx splits up duplicate N, burns the Y and plays the X and scores well. I'm going with this. Oh my word, look at that, both blanks. Surely I am bingoing, even though I don't have any vowels. But where can I play? Nothing goes on the end of enticed. I don't think Jambo takes an S. Row M could begin with a vowel. I could put a consonant under the I, but then I would need 2 vowels, and I don't think that's going to be available with this rack. Empusa takes an S, but anything in row N is going to open access to row O. I lead by 13. No single tile goes in front of equate. E and D of Kedge look useful, especially the E. But that's the same issue as row N. If I play in row B, I'm providing access to row A. But I do have net surfs through the E, which is quite nice. It ends in 3 consonants, which is very hard to play parallel to. So I think that's my preferred option at the moment. What am I missing? Anything with the K. Funkster, possibly, but that doesn't get tripled. Frankest, likewise, but it does get the F doubled. Can't see anything beginning or ending with the K. Okay, so has opponent taken out all my bingos? But surely with 2 blanks I've still got one. So I have strafing onto the G. But do I have anything through DA or EA? I'm absolutely convinced I do. This rack is just amazing, apart from the F. But very hard to find 9-letter plays, especially when you've got 2 blanks. And these 2-letter sets don't lend themselves to particular prefixes or suffixes. So I have strafing in my back pocket. Do I have anything in row M beginning with I or U? Gosh, that looks close. Not seeing anything. Wow, that would be nice though. It would stop 1 square short of column 15. Not seeing it. So is there anything with DA? DA looks less useful than EA. EA is attractive because I don't have vowels. But I'm just trying to think of what component parts of a word could go round EA. I could spend a long time here. 13 minutes on my clock. So what if the play began... I'm just sticking these tiles vaguely to the left. Began UN. That's not giving me anything. Oh well, we'll find out later. But I'm going to go with the bingo I've seen. Strafing for 72. And I draw, well, quite a balanced rack. All 1-pointers, all bingo-y tiles. Not seeing a 7, although there could be one. So how about this S? Not seeing anything with that. What about the T? No. Well, anything else not available for a bingo? Anything ending with K? No. So not a great rack, and I have no vowels for going under the X. Do I have a front extension for equate? Nope. I do have a play from the W. I have 1L, and since the board is volatile with the strafing play, I don't think 1L is a bad option. And given that I lead, turning over tiles to expedite the end of the game is a good thing. But it partly depends on what opponent does with their next play. Because the board isn't open on the right-hand side if I don't play 1L, so it may be worth just choking the board in the top left. Row M and N remain available for bingos. Wow, I think I've had 2 back-to-back bingos, well, separated by Syrinx for 48, but look at this, my lead, only 80 points. EA doesn't look a good 2-letter set to create a 9. Nor does DA. I've got the Neo prefix. S is available for a triple, but with both blanks gone, that makes it harder for opponent to have one. But of course, if they do have one, they will be going into the lead. And I'm sure there were other options. Do I have anything down from the X or beginning I something X? Nope, I don't. Great, just 21 points for opponents. Wow. So the board is now fairly tight. This is 30 points. I like the points. It keeps me a bingo ahead. Doesn't provide anything other than bingo floaters. No vowels next to premium squares. L not particularly useful for a last or first place in a bingo. I've only got 1 pointers. I'm going to struggle to get 30 points anywhere else. If I play down column 2, I'll be opening column 1. What about a play across from the P? I'm slightly mindful that 1L leaves a rack leave of EO, which isn't great, especially with 6 O's to come. So, what about this? 19 points, 11 fewer points, providing pretty much nothing and keeping a really decent 4-letter set. Do I have a play which is slightly longer? I don't think peon takes an E. Peon does take ES, but that's the plural of peon. Certainly one more tile would score a lot more. Just wondering if paoli is good, but with an E, but I do want to split up the ends. I could play in row E, getting the F doubled. No, I'm not seeing anything great there. I'm going with peon. Wow, that looks good. I have Orleans. Don't think that plays anywhere. Again, I don't have a vowel for going under the X. And loaners and reloans are the anagrams. And none of those 3 have an S in the first 3 tiles. Oh, an opponent scores well and doesn't open a bingo lane. Now, are there bingo lanes I have not considered? I don't have anything to go in front of double A. I don't have a K for Jambo. No H to go after the C. So I don't, well, is this, there's EA. Orleanses is good, but that's 2 S's. 9 minutes on my clock, 31 tiles to go, and opponent only 40 points behind me. What a shame, such a nice rack. And opponent trailing. You'd think there'd be a possibility of them opening the board, but they haven't. So there are a lot of O's to come. I'd like to play off an O. But I'm, again, only 1 point tiles, so the danger is that opponent catches me, that I don't score very much and opponent continues to pile in with 30 and 40 point plays. One C left for co-equate, but I'm not hanging on to an O with so many to come. When you've got 1 point tiles, you're looking at the scoring tiles on the board, but they're not particularly available. However, I do have this, Rons for 15, providing nothing, and if opponent opens the board, this is pretty good, and in any event, the S is good for empusers. Lots of I's and O's to come. I'm not keeping any of those. I am going with this. Oh, wow, what a pick. Ululates through a T. But all 1 pointers again. Can I hang on? 28 tiles to come. That is a lot. I do now have a tile for going under the X, so I could play Ulu. That is slightly interfering with row N Empuser, but my priority is sorting my rack out. Opponent needs a bingo more than I do. Ulu scores very little, but totally sorts the rack out. Does that play anywhere else? Don't think it does. Still 1S unseen. Only 1N unseen as well, which limits opponent's ability to play an IN bingo in row M. I have Lulu as well as Ulu. Rons doesn't take anything in front. Oh, fantastic. 30 points for opponent, but opponent provides a T for ululates. Superb. Always fun to get rid of 2 U's. And look at this, I draw the C, but dodge the 5 O's that would have given me co-equate. I do have 1 vowel, which is better than none, and I have a 100-point lead. But remaining tiles do contain bingos. But it's also possible opponent is drowning in I's and O's. Now, is there any alternative front extension to equate? I'm sort of waiting for it to come to mind, which is why I'm revisiting it, but I don't see anything with this rack. I do now have scoring tiles, but I lack the vowels to assist with playing them. I would like to get rid of V and W in one go. Can I do that? The floating vowels are U's, which go particularly badly with V and W, so that's not much use. And opponent plays just 2 O's. Fantastic. So, what can I do here? So I can do this. Drew for 30 points. And bear in mind, opponent got only 10, so this sequence will extend my lead by 20. I'm retaining the C for co-equate, 3 O's to come. W is covering the premium square, so opponent's limited in what they're going to score in column 1. Wavy is probably the max they can manage. And Drew is also obstructing the R of Witter. But is this the play? 30 points. Just wondering about options 1 square to the left. 25 points. And what about playing off V with W? 6 minutes on my clock. So I have weave, only 19 points, keeping 4 consonants. All of the remaining big tiles go underneath this O, so I think it's a good idea to play here. But do I have anything with the W rather than the D in that spot? I can't play off V and W. What about wend? Yeah, this is slightly better than drew. Or is it no ends to come and 1 R? I prefer drew. It won't be putting a vowel over this premium square. I'm going with drew for 30. Oh, and I missed the O's. Unbelievable. But I do now have 2 vowels, no duplicates, and scoring tiles. I don't have the S, so the impuser hook is available for opponent. And opponent plays wavy. Okay. That's a shame. And still 3 O's. Is it worth hanging on to the C? I note that I could play chivvy. 7 tiles in the bag. I lead by 80. Why, not particularly dangerous in last place, although there is an L to come. I keep on seeing plays which use the C because the C and the H play well together. Tricky spot. Vig for 14. Four minutes on my clock. I lead by 80, which is good. This row N is available for bingos. Column 15 is available for bingos. £26 points, keeping ING, obstructing column 15. 57 points for equate. There's got to be a good chance I'll draw a C. I think I'll hang on to the C. But what's the most I can do? Ululates, blocks, heaving. The trouble with Vig is it doesn't score very much and it provides another easy 30 points for opponent. And I'm running out of time. But that's such a nice co-equate spot, and opponent's very unlikely to block it. So what about doing this? 16 points. There are a lot of vowels to come. If I draw I'm playing off 4 tiles. Surely I'm going to draw 1 O. Only 2 minutes on my clock. I'm fishing for an O. I'm doing this. And I draw an O. Fantastic. In fact, this is a really good pick. I draw a lot of vowels. This is super balanced. So I do have co-equate. Supposing that's blocked. And it's not. Fantastic. So 1 tile in the bag. But is there a bingo? There's row O onto the Y. There's column 15 onto the R. The R looks most likely. Not seeing anything. What about the Y? Could end ERY. Not seeing anything. So, Is this winning? 57 points, 457. I'll lead by 130. This guarantees the win. Co-equate. Fantastic. And opponent may not have a bingo. Oh, they do. They have cohibits, but it's not going to be enough. If they don't spot it, I have hornier in column 15. Do I have an alternative? Well, not that I can see, but opponent's got 7 minutes to find their bingo. And they do. And the final score, 448 for opponent, 460 for me, a winning margin of 12 points. So a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. Just enough to win at the end there. So it was opponent to go fast, and they play quate. A nice start, 48 points. Oh, adequate. Gosh, that would have been fun to play, but I missed that. I played jam for 29. Jedi, G3. Yeah, Jedi also, I think, pretty decent and probably better than jam, but adequate would have been the pick of the bunch. Nice play by opponent. And I play fib for 29. Bend only 2 more points and a much worse rack leave. I6. Yep. So, well, fib also, however, provides scoring spots in column 10, which bend wouldn't have done. So bend possibly a better play. Opponent plays a dowel. And I have enticed for 75. Alternatives, J1, deep inked through the P. And enticed in column 9, and that's it. Okay, so delighted to spot the top scoring option. Opponent plays Kedge, and now I have Syrinx for 48. But look at this, Yunks, K2. Wow, I think that would have been worth doing, retaining R and I, both of which improve NS, and only 2 fewer points. So Yunks would have been a better play. However, Syrinx is much more fun. Now, opponent plays double A, but what is this? J1. Wow, starting on the left-hand side of the board, apprenticed playable. Probably not the best play, retaining 4 vowels, but always fun to see these really long words. Now, opponent plays double A. I had this rack. All I saw was strafing, and there was more. So B7, C fronts through EA, getting the F tripled. Wow, that would have been nice. Fristing, D1. Oh, fristing, frosting, basically the same as strafing, but getting the F doubled. Yeah. And then snifter, N3, snifter and empuser, and unturfs. Okay, so plenty of options, and C front would have been best. Wow, nice rack for opponent. Potager and portage, but nowhere for it. Plays gaps. And this is the play I thought about, 1L. Didn't like opening the board, so played peon for 19. Keeping a nice rack leave. And based on score and rack leave, 1L would have been better, but taking into account keeping the board tight, I think peon is better. Now, opponent doesn't have a bingo, but does have a 30-point Z play. So my lead just 50 points. No bingo here, despite having several on my rack. So I play Rons for 15, again not opening the board and retaining a good rack leave. And opponent's got Viatot, nowhere for it. They play Witter, and look at that. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I have Ululates, and that takes me from a slender lead into a big lead, 100 points. An opponent with 3 O's plays 2 of them. Gosh, I spent a while here eventually went with Drew. I think this is the part of the board to play. Perhaps Derv would have been better. But C and V have some synergy, especially with an O. Probably not very much between those. Except Derv wouldn't have given opponent wavy. Anyway, that was the worst case option. So it wouldn't happen all the time, and I still have an 80-point lead. Now this is where I hung on to the C for co-equate. A12. Oh, Vega playable here for 31 points. And I play it down here for 16. Okay, so column 12 would have been better. Opponent plays mill. And look at this, 57 points for co-equate. Definitely the best play. And opponent has co-ibits for 104 points. Getting the B doubled and the whole thing tripled, but it's not enough. Opponent still loses by 12. So, super exciting stuff. Lots of interesting racks, and I think the turning point was ululate. Always great fun to have a troublesome rack with two U's and find a bingo to get your way out of it. And co-equate also was, I think, required for the win, given that opponent had that big bingo outplay. So super exciting stuff. Many thanks to opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.